You have driven F1 cars, flown jets, and done so many death-defying stunts. Is there anything that you're afraid of?
It's not that I'm not afraid. It's that I just don't mind being afraid. And when I want to do something, I like that feeling of, you know, can we do it? That's why the films we make are incredibly ambitious. And every time we go in, I'm going, can we do it? Can we push it? Can we keep pushing it? That's just who I am. I'm constantly want to just keep pushing it, and story and stunts and adventure.
When you signed on to the first Mission Impossible movie that you did,
Yes.
did you ever think it was going to involve in such a big series?
I'm going to tell you a true story. I did not sign on to direct a Mission Impossible. Tom said, he suggested while we were making Edge of Tomorrow, he said, you should direct the next Mission Impossible. And I had seen Brad Bird making Mission Impossible, and it was, I don't know how he survived it. It was overwhelming. I was terrified of the notion of directing a Mission Impossible. And Tom picked up the phone, called somebody at Paramount, and walked into the other room, talked for about 5 minutes, and came back in and said, congratulations, you're directing Mission Impossible. We never actually had the conversation about whether or not I should or I could or I would. And now here I am 4 movies later.
What's so interesting about that is for the past decade, you and Tom have pretty much done every movie together.
Yeah.
What was the start of that relationship?
It was quite. It was a meeting by chance, and it was a casual meeting. We weren't meeting to talk about any specific project, and I was there in an old car, in an old classic car, and before we were even introduced, we started talking about the car, and we opened up. He asked to see the engine, and now our heads are under the hood of the car, and we're talking about the engine, and then we walked into his garage and started talking about his motorcycles, and then walked into his office and started talking about movies. And at no point were we actually formally introduced. And it wasn't until a few years later that I was at his birthday party toasting him, and I pointed out that we had never been formally introduced. So it's a relationship that has no official beginning. So hopefully it won't have an official ending.
That's amazing to hear. It's really interesting. When you go about making the Mission Impossible movies, how central are the stunts to the planning? Are they at the front of your mind, or do they come as an afterthought?
It's all about story and character and action in kind of a. We're talking about all of those things at the same time, and they all develop very organically. It's a little bit like moldy bread. When you're looking at a piece of bread and the mold is starting to form in the corners and a little bit in the middle, and if you leave it long enough, it all turns into mold. It's a weird analogy, but that's kind of how the stories come together. It grows from the middle, it grows from the edges, it grows randomly in spots, and it slowly comes into focus. And you never quite know what you're going to get.
I love that, and that somehow makes sense to me. When you were shooting the motorcycle stunt, I saw the behind-the-scenes trailer, and I saw the pure look of anxiety in your face.
Oh, yeah.
What was that like for you?
Well, you saw the pure lack of anxiety on my face, and there is a reason my hair is this color.
And last question, what's it like working with Tom? How involved is he in the production of the movies?
Oh, he's involved in every single aspect. He knows everybody's job. He understands that the movie is a living, breathing organism, and that anything that is not working perfectly has an effect on the overall. His overview is extraordinary, even while he's making the movie. And you up your game. You become that much more aware of your surroundings when you're working with Tom.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. You're such a nice person, but in the film you played a cold, calculated, almost religiously fueled maniac.
Yes, I'm glad you said that word.
Yeah, I love that angle. I seen the film; it was amazing. I love that angle. Could you talk a bit more about how did you get into character, what inspired that, and becoming that monster?
Well, the thing that I find interesting is that I try my best to find the light in life, to be the most evolved human being I can be. I come from a tough neighborhood, New York City. This is my hometown, but I did not grow up in privilege or with a silver spoon. And I think that in order to find the dark, you have to remember the pain in your life. And I think most dark behavior, most demonic, evil, satanic, if you will, comes from pain, from maladjusted pain. You use the pain in your life to refine you or define you. And I've chosen to let it refine me instead of define me. And you can use the pain in your life as an excuse, as a crutch for the flaws, or you can use it to say, hey, I will not let the dark side overwhelm me.
I love that. It's poetic. I want to know what's your favorite scene to shoot in this movie?
Too many. I mean, with Macquarie, oh my God, there's so many scenes. Favorite, I have to say, sequence with the knife fights in Venice, which was extremely difficult, which we kept on target, on budget and schedule. Very rough to shoot at night on water where it's freezing, and you're just going and going and going, and it was a turning point in the film for me.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. When you joined this franchise, did you ever think this franchise was ever going to explode into the phenomenon it is now?
I had no idea. I mean, I knew these films were great. I didn't know if I would be part of them. I thought it was a little bit of stunt casting, and J.J. Abrams called me and sort of said, he'd seen Shaun of the Dead, and he said, do you want to come and do this little role? I had no idea that Benji would become a field agent, or he would become like Ethan's kind of, friend. And so I'm thrilled at how it's all turned out.
I've seen the movie and I loved it. I love that Benji gets a little emotional and gets some great scenes in this one.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on that, and what was your favorite scene to shoot?
Well, I think, while everyone's talking about the stunts and all the kind of really incredibly spectacular stuff, Tom and McHugh are over in the corner talking about character and talking about the sort of depth of feeling that these people have, which makes the stunts even more effective, I love the airport scene. I love Benji facing the bomb that's trying to get to know him, It's really high-stakes stuff. And I think for a field agent like Benji, who's been around a while now, but is still the same person, it's great to see a little bit more of his sort of inner workings.
I love that too. That was my favorite scene as well. For what's it been like working with Tom Cruise after all these years? I was talking with Chris about his relationship and how that's kind of blossomed and developed.
Yeah. Who's that? Hey, look at you. Look at you, buddy. I'm loving this. I love this. Oh my God.
Sorry about that.
Sorry. I mean, my relationship with Tom, I always kind of see it as a parallel between Benji and Ethan. When I arrived in Hollywood for Mission 3, I'd never been there before. I was like Benji, I was like out in the field and working with the most famous secret agent in the world, and over the years I've kind of got to know him better and better, and we've become firmer and firmer friends, and I love spending time with him. I feel quite privileged that I actually get to spend time with a version of Tom that no one else does,
Last question. Seeing Tom do all those stunts, are you ever tempted to join him on one of those?
Never.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You've been in so many great movies and big budget productions, but what was it like joining this one?
Oh, it was 4 years of my life. So, I've never done a job this long because it asked everything of me, and it was getting out of my comfort zone and finding new ways to delight the audience and offer creative opportunities for the character to be more than one thing. And so coming in every day, working with McHugh and Tom, just trying to find something to offer that felt exciting for the audience.
Working with a Hollywood icon like Tom Cruise must be an experience. What was that like?
He's exactly what everyone who's worked with him describes him as. He is totally professional, dedicated, a gentleman, hardworking, kind. He genuinely wants everyone to thrive. So he's going to provide the safety and the resources and the support to make sure that we can come in every day and do our best, because we know he is.
Joining Mission Impossible, one of the biggest franchises in Hollywood, is not an easy feat. No. What's it been like for you?
Oh, it's a thrill. I was a fan, not just of the franchise, and obviously more so when Chris McQuarrie climbed on board, but I was a fan of the TV series. That's how old I am. So, yeah, it was a big thrill for me.
And this is not your first time working with Tom Cruise. What's that relationship been like? Has it evolved over the years, and how is it now?
Yeah, he's just an extraordinary guy. Obviously we all know what an amazing talent he is, and what a force of nature he is. But what a lot of people don't know is what an incredibly warm-hearted and generous human being he is. And I picked up on that on the first day working with him in Daytona 33 years ago. I was so taken by not just his work ethic, but by the person himself. And I said to myself that first day, I'm like, this guy is extraordinary. He's someone you can really learn from. And so I studied him, Yeah.
The character you play is one that's super interesting and wears a lot of faces, so to speak. What's it been like playing that character?
Oh, so fun. You know, when McHugh called me and told me who I'm playing and what my journey would be, I was like, man, this is going to be a great ride. A great ride.
And what was your favorite part of making this movie?
Every single day, Ethan. Every single day. I can't pick one. Just every day coming to the set and being a part of this show. It doesn't get much better than that.
It wasn't the day Tom jumped out of a helicopter over a cliff.
He showed us that on the first day. He showed us that stunt. And, you know, we were all absolutely holding our breath, you know, because it's the biggest stunt off a mountain on a motorbike in the history of film, I think, ever. No one's ever done that stunt. No one. And probably no one ever will. So we were all kind of freaking out. And he's laughing, you know, because he's done it. And he gets a thrill out of that kind of thing. The rest of us get sweaty palms. He's like having a great time.
Last question. So you're not tempted to do any stunts yourself, are you?
You know, I would have to train like Tom because he's an extraordinary athlete. You know, he doesn't do these stunts just waking up one morning and go, oh, I'm going to jump off a train today. He puts a lot of work into it, a lot of training. So he's an athlete. And, he knows exactly what each muscle does to help him achieve the stunts he needs to do. So in that sense, he's a remarkable human being, really. Besides everything else, besides being the biggest movie star on the planet,
So thank you so much for your time. When I've seen you in other performances and even now in person, you seem nice, warm, and bubbly. When I see you on camera in this movie, it's psychotically scary. What's it been like playing that character?
I think it's so much fun, It's so cathartic, you get to dig deep in some very strange and dark places.
You've been a part of many Marvel movies by now, and this movie, and Marvel is technically all CGI. This is so many practical effects. What's the difference you felt working on a set like this as opposed to one of those?
I mean, the biggest difference is that we don't shoot, we shoot less in studios than, the Marvel movies usually. So you get to travel all around the world and do things in real life, on location. So, you get to drive in in Rome. I got to run on top of a moving train. So it's like things that usually you do that on a green screen, but for Mission Impossible, you do that in real life.
And when you see Tom do the crazy death-defying stunts, are you tempted to want to do them yourself?
I mean, I would need a lot of training to be able to do that, but it's so exhilarating to watch, and he's so incredible at what he does. So it's very inspiring.
And did you have a favorite scene from this movie?
Oh, there's so many incredible scenes. I mean, all the scenes on the train are amazing, and it's just like at the end, it's just like, it's so much chaos, Also the scenes at the beginning with like all the characters in the, at the beginning of the movie with like all the close-ups is very intense and it's beautiful.
Thank you so much for your time.
Precise in my answers, I'm sorry.
Joining a series like Mission Impossible is like entering a wild tornado. What's it been like for you?
Exactly that, a wild tornado, because you never know what's going to happen next. So you have to be open to anything and be able to improvise and in circumstances in your real life, not only in the movie. So yeah, but it's an amazing experience and incredible. And I'm so blessed to be here, so grateful.
That's awesome to hear. And then working with Tom Cruise on a massive Tom Cruise production, he's such an iconic figure in Hollywood from the past 4 or 5 decades. What's that been like working in that environment?
It was incredible. I'm thinking, like, since I've been working with him, that no matter what the movie is, and of course it's Mission, but the experience of working with him and with McHugh it teaches you so much. It inspires you so much that I'll take that.
What's going to be your biggest takeaway from this whole experience?
The discipline, commitment, the care that they have for safety, for everyone, is something that when you think, like, you see superstars and you never know how they are really, or how they're gonna react, and see the level of kindness and humbleness that Tom Cruise has is incredible.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
You too. You join in this franchise, one of Hollywood's most storied franchises. What's that been like for you?
It's been crazy. I've always wanted to do an action film. I've always saw myself as an action star as a child. I broke my mom's glass table trying to do different stunts. So to actually do it in real life and not get a whipping from my mom because I didn't break anything, it's cool. It's cool.
And for viewers who haven't seen the movie, this guy's got an amazing role and is going to be developed into a big feature in the second film, I hope. That's what it seems like.
I can't confirm or deny, but okay.
So with that, how excited were you when you got the call that you're going to get this role? You read the scripts. How did you feel?
When I got the call from McHugh, he said, "Hey, we love what you did in Top Gun Maverick, and Tom and I wants to, bring you to the franchise. We created this role for you, and we don't know what he's gonna do, or what it's gonna be." I was like, "Yes," because I know how great they are. I know how much they care about cinema and filmmaking, and I knew they cannot miss, and we haven't.
And I was talking with Chris and Simon, and everybody has one big thing in common. There's always a key relationship with Tom. What's that been like working with him, and how's that relationship going?
Man, he is my mentor. I mean, I just started in this industry, and to have somebody like him set the bar as high as he did for me, like show me the example on how to conduct myself in this industry has been incredible. He's one of the best people you'll ever meet. And I hope I can continue making movies with him, whether, it's the next one or, something different.